Dance with us, people. Dance.
I'm gonna have to come up with a dance for this. A routine.
Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday, guys. Happy Saturday to you, my guy.
Happy Saturday.
Yeah.
It's a gorgeous day out.
Beautiful day out. I just got done cutting the grass, doing the good old Saturday husbandly chores. Um, yeah, it's starting to feel a little bit like spring finally.
Yeah. Hopefully it stays. I'm done with the cold. But we have had a mild winter in general. But I mean, we didn't have snow or anything.
Not too much, but you know, definitely glad to have some better weather up ahead.
All
We
right.
have some baseball, of course, now that's just
Phillies today
finally
for our
sprung.
five.
Yep.
Tune in.
Hey now, hey now. Well, happy Saturday, guys. It's as always your fearless host. We know we have not been around for a little bit, but hey, we're back at it. So yeah, your fearless host Joxy and Degz, and we're back at it for another episode of Cracking a Cold One. Cheers,
Cheers,
buddy.
buddy. That was a good cheers, buddy.
That was a great one. And today's episode brought to you by lovely Celsius. I
We
love
have
Celsius.
we have some commitments after this, so I thought maybe keep it PG with the drinking.
Of course, of course. Hey, it's the Lord's weekend. Let's go ahead and
Happy Easter to everyone.
yeah, happy
tomorrow.
Easter.
Hope you're spending it with your loved ones and just take the day to relax and
Yeah,
enjoy it for what it is.
think that, have a definitely enjoy it for sure. And spend some time with some family. If you don't have family nearby, call your family. Just at least
Right.
have at least a moment with family
Mm-hmm.
during this weekend.
Yeah.
But without further ado, guys, let's jump in to today's episode. So, what we have here, hold on, what's here we go. We're going to try that again. We're going to start off with today's episode going through a few different topics. So we will be transitioning, between the NFL. We have a couple topics for the NBA, and then we're also going to just send it off with lovely March Madness with where we're at. So, without further ado, let's get started. So we're in the midst of a lot of amazing things. I think when we think of football season ending, and oh my gosh, now it's like we gotta just deal with the boredom of other sports and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's actually been pretty active in the off season. There's a lot. It was really probably, I would say, what, like a month of just like, not even a month, probably like a couple weeks just of like quietness, and then out of nowhere,
Yeah.
things just like started. And I think it was perfect because you had Super Bowl,
Mm-hmm.
All-Star Weekend,
Yeah.
and then right after All-Star Weekend was free agency.
Right after All Star Weekend, things took off.
Yep.
When it got the buzz got hot, and yeah, no, I mean, with the NFL, that was very eventful. Like we said, I think each year it's kind of getting more and more that way, closer to the NBA. And this year, this is one of my favorite free agency years in a long time.
Yeah.
It was really fun to just track it on Twitter and whatnot. Just
There's
keeping up with it.
folks that are saying that the NFL is overtaking the popularity of the NBA with just
Off-season.
the hype, the off season, just the drama, everything that goes into the entertainment business of the NFL.
Well, I mean, players are on the move in the NFL a lot more than they were 10 years ago.
Of course.
I mean, a lot of time. I feel like it was the same culture with the NBA, where a lot of times players stayed with a team for extended period of time. But I think now more than ever with this sports, money talks.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Also, people are more impatient. If I think we've allowed, the society, we've allowed the athletes to have more control of their situations now, and
Yeah.
they're just taking advantage of it. Um, and it makes it, I think it makes it funner for us in that regard.
I'm enjoying every bit of it. I mean, there's still players that are getting signed. There's still a long list of
There's quality players that
a lot of great names out there, which starts getting me to wonder, like, could there be a season where you have some of these great names
unsigned.
that are unsigned and they're just sitting there? One of the guys that I think of automatically is Tyler Boyd. I'm shocked that Tyler Boyd has not been signed as of yet.
Tyler Boyd, Justin Simons is another. I thought
I
he'd be
think with
going
him, it's more so with about money and
the
that he
market. Yeah,
wants, and his age, because he is a little bit older.
usually 30, 31, I think.
Yeah.
A lot of these, but with these NFL guys, the vets, a lot of them do get signed closer and closer to the training camp, as we've seen over the years. Kind of like Clowney's been a famous one for that. We see, but so I wouldn't be surprised if that, someone gets injured and needs some help. Maybe now we got to go after this dude or something like that. But a lot of quality guys out there. I kind of like it a lot. The Titans still have like 40 million in cap, so I'm like, hey, let's address things with the draft and whatever we can. Let's do some plugins for the year, and now you're right. The free
I
agents.
mean, yeah, the two top ones right now that are on this list are Simons and then Justin Simmons, and then also Stephon Gilmore. Jadeveon Clowney just signed with the Carolina Panthers for a 2-year contract.
Yep.
They have Quadre Diggs,
Yep.
Julian Blockman, Xavier Howard.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, that's a big one. Calais Campbell is good. He's a little bit older, so
Yeah,
I just wonder if he's just gonna.
Right.
I honestly could see him signing with the Eagles. Just
I was just
like
gonna
a
say
minimum.
a team like that's just wants a rotational type of.
Yep.
Yeah.
Somebody who can also just teach these young guys, a thing or two.
Big third down guy.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Adoree Jackson.
Yeah, ex-Titan.
Yep.
Jamal Adams. I think he's seen better days. I don't know about
Jamal Adams. It's because of all the injuries with him. I think that's the biggest one. And then rounding out the top 10 is Steven Nelson. So there's still a lot of. There's a lot of names out there that we haven't even said that are on this list. So I'm curious. I'm curious if he just hangs it up. All of his stuff that he's been dealing with and going through. Michael Gallup actually didn't he sign with Baltimore?
Or he visited there. Visited with Baltimore? Yeah, he visited. Okay. I'm not sure if he actually did. I'm just curious to see. Yeah, I agree with you. He might not. Last year wasn't a good sign from him, but I just want to see if he gets somewhere new. If he can, I don't think he's gonna be a star or anything, but I want to see what he does.
Team that I would see him thriving honestly with, just being like a mix in their locker room, or not in their locker room, but even just on their being a veteran to some of the younger receivers, but also being paired up with Tyreek Hill with Miami Dolphins.
I did see actually some links there for him.
Or even taking him over to dabbling him over to Atlanta. Atlanta, they need some additional receivers.
They need some depth there. He could look at one or two ways. He could try to go somewhere with a young quarterback and try to be like, hey, like maybe I can be an alpha somewhere in a young receiving core or something like that. Or he could just, like you're saying, be the help. Which I wonder if he'd be a good fit for the Texans. You know what I mean? Like kind of the third fiddle with Tank Dell and Nico. He's kind of a different player than both of them.
For some reason, I feel like that team that they. I don't know if I don't know. I like, now that I said it, I actually like him better with Atlanta than I do with anybody else.
Atlanta would be a really good spot for him.
And Kirk Cousins. I feel like they could develop some rapport. And then like I said, him being that veteran presence over Drake London, being able to like coach him up and everybody else around there. So so starting it off, we got to start the with one of our topics that we have here are the best winners of the NFL free agency. I can't even freaking speak. Best winners of NFL free agency. Mm-hmm. So who are your like, I would say top two?
Top two. I'd probably say I do think the Texans are on there. I think they address a lot of issues on the defensive side. Um, going elsewhere with Shazia Azir from Titans to Nico Autry, linebackers as well across the board. So I like what they did there. I think they're just building something special there. I
Yeah.
guess I hate to sip the Kool Aid, but I do like what the Jets did too. I mean, especially after yesterday getting Reddick, they addressed the offensive line with Smith and traded for Moses. Mike Williams is a good addition on the receiver side for
Mm-hmm.
them. A couple of defensive additions too. So I like what they've done too. If Aaron Rodgers comes back healthy, they might actually get a real shot like they thought last year.
The Sonratic one honestly just gets me.
I know
I
that's
don't
close
know.
to home, but
I'm
it was a
sour.
big
I
move.
was sour about that. I mean, it was really because of a lot of people saying that that was not a Howie move, and I looked at it and I didn't think that that was a Howie move either. I'm like that was it just did not. I don't know. I wasn't a fan of it. No, I agree with you with the Texans. I think the Texans have developed to the Texans. It's that team that I love watching them now.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of them. It was this is actually going back to the Saquon signing that I was telling everybody. I'm like, what team? Like I was looking at the teams that were interested in Saquon, and the two that were actually serious were the Eagles and the Texans. And honest, I said it. I was like, I would not actually be upset if he went and signed with the
Mm-hmm.
Texans because I think that that would
That was a
be
great
a
fit. Yeah.
great fit. He said on the podcast with New Heights with Travis Kelsey and Jason Kelsey that that was actually a team that he
Would have. Yeah.
was actually thinking about before signing with the Eagles. They were pushing, I guess, a lot like really strong for him, and I guess him and C.J. Stroud were having discussions and whatnot of how the team could look and whatnot. So, things like that could
Mm-hmm.
that played out. Now the Texans actually had a good one, but another good one was the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota Vikings actually think have they got Shaq Griffin over there, so they bolstered up some of their defensive weapons that they lost over there. Especially with getting Van Ginkel, I think that was good.
Greenard from Houston. Yeah, they got some good
They
guys.
have they have Aaron Jones. I do think that they're going to go after not Drake May. I think they're going to go after JJ McCarthy, and JJ McCarthy with that team could be really good. And then I know it's putting on. I'm not trying to put the cart before the horse, but I mean it's that team could be really like good in the coming years if JJ McCarthy pans out. You have JJ there, you have Addison, you have now Aaron Jones down there. That offense is pretty much set. Then you got to just essentially bolster up that defense, continue working on that defense. But um, my I would say my other team that I liked in that was the Bears. The Bears have done
Yeah,
a lot. With Keenan Allen, DeAndre Swift. Uh, I do think Kevin Byard could probably have a resurgence with them. Who knows?
a better year.
Yeah,
I think a better year.
we'll
He
see.
might fit the scheme.
I like that they got Matt Pryor, so they're getting like some players on the offense on the on their offensive line, and then they paired up Gerald Everett with the Keenan Allen signing too. So
Mm-hmm.
two
Mm-hmm.
boys from San Diego.
Yeah.
That
No,
team could be good. I just don't really like their
coach.
don't like their coach. I don't like their I just don't like the whole
Culture.
going after Caleb Williams. Personally,
Yeah.
I think JJ McCarthy is going to be better than him. I think JJ McCarthy is going to be the best quarterback coming out.
I'm not. I'm really not sold on any of the quarterbacks. I just don't like this draft this year.
I agree.
It reminds me of a lot of the Baker Mayfield draft. A lot of these names, a lot of these guys, they want to push, but I don't see any of these guys as a real NFL quarterback. I don't know, man. It's tough for me to. If this was my personally, I'd rather have had Levis than these guys. Maybe I
Mm-hmm,
think I
mm-hmm.
obviously Stroud. Um, I mean, I'd probably rather have Richardson. Maybe I think. I don't know, man. I don't love these guys.
Yeah,
McCarthy's probably. He's probably third. I do think Caleb Williams will be good. Probably. I worry about his mental in the NFL. I don't know if he can handle if he starts off rough, and also the hype train coming into this now is it's at an all time high now. I mean, you
It
have
is.
Keenan Allen and DJ Moore. I mean, the standard and expectations have to be drastically even bigger than Justin Fields coming into it, Dusty Allen Robinson
Yeah.
and Darnell Mooney. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't love the quarterbacks. I just don't. I wouldn't want to be a.
I think we're both on the same page, though, that the best winner out of NFL free agency was the Houston Texans.
Yeah, I mean, and some of the guys they retained too. Noah Brown's a good third receiver they retained. They got Schultz now as a good safety blanket, and then obviously like Joe Mixon. We were talking about Bart, but Joe Mixon fits that team very well too. So, and that's something they didn't have last year, right? A run game to pair with CJ. So, um, yeah, really good stuff from them. I hate that they're in the Titans division, but they're a team, like you said, they're a fun team, a team that you want to root for.
Shout out to Houston, man. I was actually really happy with the Joe Mixon signing. I talked about it a lot, a few weeks ago. But it's funny how all of that panned out. I texted you that one night. I was like,
Yeah.
I really want Houston to go after Joe Mixon. Next morning, oh look, Joe Mixon's with Houston Texans. I was like, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
No. Kudos to
So
them.
kudos to the Texans on being the winner. Now moving on to the draft. We're what, about a month away now? Actually, less than a month away.
Less than a month. I mean, it's the 20 something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So we're less than a month away. A lot of players. We've already talked about some of these quarterbacks that are coming out. Of the into the NFL draft. Which I agree with Degz. I'm not a big fan of some of these quarterbacks coming into the NFL.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Caleb Williams, and it's not me hating. It's just really I don't know if he's going to be.
The hype train's huge.
He reminds me so much of Jason Campbell. I don't know why.
That's hilarious.
But I'm gonna call him a Jason Campbell 2.0. Probably just a better version of Jason Campbell. But hey, that's not bad. Hey, you're a better version of Jason Campbell.
Not his play because they play different, but the hype. I just see a lot of Trevor Lawrence. Oh, he's so good. He's generational, arm and this and that. And whenever someone starts getting compared to Patrick Mahomes is when you kind of lose me a little bit because sure, maybe some of the play style, but like for basically the Bears are really buying into that, right? And dude, he's generational talent. You get one of those very ever so often. Otherwise, they're star quarterbacks, yeah, but like they ain't really doing that shit. You know what I mean? And I just think they set themselves up for maybe an unrealistic expectation.
Yeah. Some of these guys though, outside of the quarterbacks, I think are going to make a huge, huge impact with whichever team that they get drafted by. My favorite one is one of my favorite ones, I should say, not my favorite. One of my favorite is Xavier Leggett. I think he's going to be good.
I do too. I think he's getting a little bit. He's falling a little bit under the radar. He probably could be a round one pick. I think he'll go in round two. He's someone I would love the Titans to target, like because we definitely going to go O line at that 7 pick, or we're going to move back and still get the offensive line that we want. So I love him in the second round. That's my wish list second round pick.
I think with Tennessee and this is actually a player that I think you guys are going to go after is
Your boy. Yeah.
Fashanu. I'll just say Fashanu.
Yeah.
Fashanu is going to be great with in the NFL because he is a dynamic, like an elite tackle.
Yeah.
At his level right now, and he's just going to get better with the the coaching that he's going to have.
Him or Alt, the guy from Notre Dame.
Yep.
If we get one of them, I'll be the happiest man in the world.
Yeah.
Who's on your Eagles wish list? Who would you like?
Oh,
I'm assuming secondary maybe or linebacker.
I mean, I would say so. honestly, the cornerback from I can't figure out where he's at on his list right now. The boy from Illinois, or no, not Illinois, Iowa. He's the first white cornerback that could be drafted in the first round.
Yeah.
Um,
Hold on, I can have him up in just a second. Cooper DeJean.
yep, Cooper DeJean.
Okay.
So Cooper DeJean actually his size 6'1". I think he's about like 200. I think
Okay.
6'1", 200,
Uh huh.
205. Has great size. You know, he was rated as one of the top cornerbacks coming out of college. Where we're at 22, I think he could end up falling to us. Um, if they were to some reason trade up, um, I don't think it's gonna happen, but Terrion Arnold from Alabama
Oh yeah.
is probably like another one that I'm a big fan of that I would like for them to go after. Um, so
I do like the Gene. I think he has some sort of stat where like he didn't allow some crazy stat. I don't know if it was a touchdown or something. So like he's legit. But other than that, if you can get one of the Alabama boys, Arnold or McKinstry,
yeah,
I mean, dude, if you whenever you can get an SEC secondary, I just think it's just the best bet.
yeah,
Unless it's like a Sauce Gardner, right? Where it's just the metrics are just off the charts and stuff like that.
hmm
Because dude, they play the best talent, man. They play so many NFL receivers.
yeah, and I mean it's funny because they actually have Cooper DeJean rated above. Um, actually,
Kool Aid.
I think they have him rated as the best.
I don't know the
They
stat.
have him rated as the best cornerback um, coming out into the draft. So, I mean, if there's a way that obviously I don't know if that's going to happen, but if there's a way that Terry and Arnold or even Nate Wiggins, if they can fall over to,
Yeah, we get Clemson. Yep.
yeah, one of those boys I would like, but obviously, like I said, we'll see how it all plays out with Howie. I would like him to go after linebacker, but he's not going to go after linebacker. And then at the same time, like,
Maybe we'll find a good one like in the
or even like
second
a
or third
tackle.
round, like Jeremiah Trotter Jr.
I hope that they go after him
I
because
like
it's
him a
like you didn't
lot.
want to go ahead and get Runyon, so why you better go ahead and get Trotter Jr.
Well, I heard Senior talk about he wants him to go. He would love him to go there, obviously. And then he was talking about if because the Cowboys need a linebacker now with Leighton Vander Esch going. He's like, if he goes there, he's like, I told him I can't wear the jersey, man. I'll wear something neutral. I'll wear your college jersey, but I can't do it. He goes, I owe the Philadelphia fans too much. I'm too much of a face for them. Like he's like, I don't know if that's arrogant of me, but and I'm like, no, like you are like you're definitely a
I
name
love it.
since the 2000s that like
I love it.
just like every Eagles fan, like, you know what I mean? They know Jeremiah Trotter. So okay, we said we don't like the quarterbacks, but you know what I love in this draft is the receivers, dude. They're
Receiver
so
Malik
deep.
Neighbors.
So Malik Nate, so he's someone that I wouldn't if the Titans wanted to pass the offensive line, just go for one of these guys. I would love him. I love Brian Thomas. I love Rome Dunes. I think Adonai Mitchell's legit. Obviously, we talk about
Even
Xavier.
Brock Bowers is gonna be
Oh
good
yeah,
too.
oh yeah. McConkey, like him. Xavier Worthy, he's a beast. I mean Troy Frank. I mean this is one of those receivers that in like the third or fourth round we're gonna get another like Amon-Ra St. Brown or something like that.
Yep.
Like we're gonna get a star that's just fell a little more under the radar than he should.
It's a deep receiver draft. This is gonna be. I'll make this prediction right now, and who knows? Maybe we'll remember this in a few years to be like, hey, let's talk about this, or let's go back to this episode, or remember this guy that you predicted. There is going to be a receiver that's going to come out of this draft that'll be drafted like I think like in the fourth or fifth round. That will be a number one, will be a top 10 receiver in the next 5 years.
Probably. I mean, I think you're right. I went through like the first 24, and there's a lot of guys I just know like they're
There's a lot
legit.
of names on here. A lot of
Julian
it's
Pope from
it's deep.
Washington's a beast. Yeah,
It
yeah.
is
There's a
deep.
bunch of guys here.
Whoa. Yeah, Donnie Mitchell from Texas,
Ricky
Ryan
Purcell,
Thomas from LSU.
Florida. Yeah, so I'm excited to see that. The receivers taken there.
You guys are in a good position now. What are your draft? You're drafting what, 8th?
We're seventh.
Seventh.
We're seventh overall. So that tells from what I'm hearing is if there's the one they must have a guy they love the most. I'm not sure which one, but the offensive lineman, if he's there, they're gonna take him. Otherwise, they might if they can trade back a few picks and gain something mid round or something. I think they will. Um, I like what the type like. I didn't think they're one of the absolute winners, but I think they're in the above average category and some of the things they've done in the offseason. I like the aggressiveness.
Yep.
They've addressed a lot of the issues already that they've had last year.
Yeah.
They're definitely putting Levis in a position for success, right? So, like I said, offensive line, receiver, linebacker, and edge are my three things I love to finish off with the draft.
Mhm.
And then, like we were saying, like some of the free agencies that are out there. Hopkins, I'd imagine we have him for one more year.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I think after this year we probably just part ways with him. He probably, this would make sense. I think so. I'd love to draft someone that can kind of be like his heir apparent to go with Ridley for the next couple of years.
Yeah. That'll be good. That'll be good. That'll be good. Well, let's go ahead and let's take a shift onto the NBA. Oh, sorry guys. Just moving the camera around so NBA.
NBA?
A little sad right now.
Yeah.
Just because we're as you guys
it's written
know,
on the wall
Sixers,
for us as Sixers fans. The season did not go
as panned. I mean, it would really you can definitely put your your mark on like a spot of when the season turned. When do you think?
Yeah, it's the injury to Embiid.
Of course.
It ruined the flow of the team. We were playing great basketball, right? We were probably top 4 seed, flip flopping with musical chairs there. The team is built for him in the lineup. Without it, we see they're not a bad team. They have good players and stuff, but they're no contender, and they're a playing team.
And I'm curious what. I mean, I trust Nick Nurse and everything that he does, right? But I am curious, like, why aren't certain players like playing like as much? Why are you starting B-Ball Paul and not, or why are you starting Mo Bamba over B-Ball Paul? Why aren't you playing Ricky Council? Like things like that. Because I saw this comment and it's actually true. They were like, when you guys were playing Ricky Council, you guys were winning, and I was like, yeah, that's true. They were winning a lot when Ricky Council was out there. Now, mind you, he's not making a huge difference, but I mean, his energy and stuff like that.
I agree with what you said. I trust Nurse. There's something, method to some madness. I think a lot of it is there is a lot of injuries. People are in and out of lineups on a given night. They're playing thin. I think with the B-Ball Paul thing, I think he just wants like some balance off the bench. Like Paul should be starting over him, but think about like if Bomba's playing with that second unit, it's a little uneven. So that's what I think is probably happening there. It's probably with why like Lowry's starting. Like not that he can't start, but there's like Buddy Hield probably should be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it's disappointing, dude. But the team has played hard in every game. That you can tell that that's where he hasn't lost me.
Mm-hmm.
This is all happening, but I've been on a little run here going to Sixers games every week here. Getting ready to be my third one in a row, going Tuesday. So I've seen him in person play, and they're playing hard till every whistle to the end. Guys like Oubre, they're stepping up.
Yeah,
he's being asked to do things he shouldn't be. I mean, he shouldn't be shooting the ball as much as he's shooting.
Oubre is Philly. Oubre is built for Philly.
He's definitely probably number one that I'm like I need to have him back. Just for the culture, he just fits the mold of the team. long. He's a nurse guy, long, lengthy, athletic
He's young
defender.
enough to where he can still grow with Maxi, and they could.
He's entering his prime.
Yeah,
Yeah, and so he's been a breath of fresh air. I think just he's basically been the most consistent guy next to Maxi. I mean, Tobias, man, he's been so frustrating, up and down. Um, it might be officially not. I know we've talked about. Oh, I'd bring him back on a lower contract and all. It might be time just to move on.
I think I'm right there with you. I don't think I can see him returning with the amount of minutes that he plays, and you're barely even cracking sometimes 14, 15 points.
Yeah,
It's embarrassing at this rate. And yeah, I mean, I just instead of kind of like beating the dead horse on the head, it's just like let's just
let's
part
get new
ways.
blood
Let's
in
just get
here,
yeah.
right?
I
And
think that's what everybody in Philly has to accept is that there's going to have to be some change.
yeah,
Now, what stays consistent is you obviously have Maxi and Embiid as your
right,
two pillars
right.
that 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 you build upon. Um, this off season, I'm really hoping that they go after Paul George.
Oh yeah,
There's a lot of rumors that Paul George is open to coming to Philly and signing with Philly.
yeah.
They were talking about the last few years. I think the last 4 or 5 years that he's been with the Clippers. And over these past several years, there hasn't been really much that's some good things that's been happening. So he's lost in the Western Conference Finals, lost in actually twice. No, sorry. Lost in the Western Conference semifinals, lost in the Western Conference finals, didn't make the playoffs, lost in the Western Conference first round, and then his current record with the Clippers is 45-27. So hasn't received the contract extension, and biggest thing with him is that they can go ahead and give him a fresh start. You know.
I, yeah, no, I think he's definitely on the fence with staying. I think Harden's kind of made that the case because they're going to have a decision, but they can't keep both of them, so they're going to have to decide on both of them, or because they just locked up. I think they extended Kawhi recently. I think
Mm-hmm.
they did. So I would love that. I think he fits us very well. I think we give him a really good shot too in the East. Um, Maury's going to make a big push for something like that
I think
with
Maury's
the
gonna,
with the cap space
yeah,
we'll have. Yeah,
Maury's gonna make a big push. Now, this is the thing though, is that with this offseason, that the lack of talent that's coming out of free agency, I wouldn't be mad if he just went and plugged, you know, 1 year contracts here, 1 year contracts here, so just like essentially having
well, I think he'll be smart. He's
some
not
role
just going to
players. But
give if it's not someone like Paul George or something that we can get.
I
I
just
don't think
wonder if Paul George even wants to come to the East Coast because he's an LA kid. LA kid wants he's playing home.
I kind of feel
He
like he did it though. Like he wanted to do that
yeah.
and he did it, and they haven't won. And I just think, I mean, they're playing bet. I mean, as of late, that's the last 5 games are like 5-5. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They figured it out. They're playing good ball. It's a lot of unselfish. It's a lot of unselfish every night, and I think that probably the locker room isn't it. I don't think it's as good as it probably could be.
Mm-hmm.
We know
Definitely
why.
could be better.
Yeah. So I just think those things. You're right. Like maybe not, but I think he's like open to it, like you
Yeah.
said, of just a different possibility. So
That time will come, and I'm definitely excited about it. Right now with the Sixers, let's see where.
they're in playing territory right now, and I don't think that's gonna change. Unfortunately, that's probably what they're gonna have to deal with at this
Yeah,
point.
they're eighth right now with. So what is it? It's 7, 8, 9, 10, right?
It is, yeah.
So you have Heat, Sixers, Bulls, Hawks. That's
Yeah.
the order from 7, 8, 9 through 7 through 10. Um,
So it's really just
what would it be? Us against the Bulls and Hawks and Heat?
Correct.
Okay. I mean, I know. I think we could beat the Bulls, of course.
I'd love that scenario first.
Yeah.
That's the one.
It's just a matter of that next round where. Wait, no, because if the Heat beats the Hawks, then it's just then we would go in, right? What is it? Is it what is the? Let's actually look at the play-ins real quick.
I think if the Heat win, they automatically might get the seven seed.
All right, let's see what the whole thing is for the play-ins because I don't understand this.
I kind of hate it. It should just be the top 8 teams.
All right, so yeah, it is really kind of like because they would then flip flop. All right, so 9 and 10 plays against each other. 7 and 8 plays against each other.
Whoever wins the 7 and 8 gets the 7 seed. Whoever loses plays for the 8 seed versus the 9 and 10. That's what it is.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. I forgot.
Yep.
So we would play Miami first.
So yeah, it's
I do think we could beat the Bulls or Falcons, Hawks, but I don't want to have to play twice.
I'm not looking forward to it. I'm actually at this point. I told some of my coworkers the other day. I said, at this rate, I'm I'm fine with them like winning or losing out the rest of the season. I really don't care. Like if you lose out the rest of the season, don't even make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So be it.
No, I know.
Ride off into the sun this off season and just like figure it out. Like because there's not like we don't need hope to be brought into this team. There's no hope right now. Like I'm sorry to be negative, but Embiid's coming back. He's going to be what 80%, 70. No, he'll say 75%, 80% at best. Okay, he's not going to be the same Embiid that we had earlier this season, and realistically, that's hurting him instead of having him just rest and continue.
That's been my thing all along here, man. I just don't. I think it's if it happened earlier in the season, there would have been more time to get him ready. But playing him a week before and then put him in a playoffs, I don't know. I just don't love it. It's funny because the East right now in general is pretty much only playing 500 ball, which is the only reason I think the Sixers are staying afloat where they are.
Yeah.
Other than that, obviously Boston is just a powerhouse. They're 8-2 in the last 10, and New York 7-3. Other than that, they allow 5-5, 6-4, 4-6. So that's interesting to see. The West, on the other hand, they're freaking hot right now.
Well, and that was actually going to be my next thing I was going to talk about because I know earlier this year when we talked about the NBA, I talked about how the East is actually stronger than the West, where the West actually might be now
creeping
back up because you have some. Excuse me, you have some of these teams on here. They would very well, sweep any of the East teams. You have the Mavericks that I think are on fire right now.
They are cruising.
The Pelicans are probably playing the best team ball that they have ever played.
Yeah, no, they're playing at a high level, and then obviously the top three right now.
The Thunder would literally go toe to toe with any of these teams in the East from top to bottom, and I think that they would go ahead and give them a run for their money.
It's gonna be interesting to see how the top three finishes.
Yeah, and this is actually something I saw 2 days ago was that the Thunder are right now they are second in the West, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have one of the largest cap spaces in the NBA.
Yeah, because they all got rookie contracts,
and they have 26 draft picks in the next the next 5 years.
So pretty much like the next like big disgruntled young star, like let's say for example, like say Anthony Edwards is like F this, I want to leave. They have everything they need to get him.
Yep.
They can be like, you know what, you want like 8 picks and like our backup center.
And Anthony Edwards is worth that.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's like
Anthony Edwards. I think people need to accept that Anthony Edwards is going to be that face of the NBA.
Said, 8. You still got freaking like 14 picks.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
Yep.
Like you're still gonna build, and so they're primed to become a potential dynasty in my opinion. So the way I think it'll shape out, my prediction is I think Denver might get 1 just because they're the veteran team. They finish strong. I think OKC's 2, Minnesota be 3. I think New Orleans creeps into 4. Dallas is 5. I think the Clippers drop to 6. And I'll make the prediction that Phoenix and LA gets in with the play-in.
Okay. Um, I'm actually going to say that the top three are going to stay as is. So it's going to be Timberwolves, Thunder, Nuggets.
Okay.
I think the Pelicans could actually jump up to four over the Clippers, and the Clippers coming down to five.
Okay.
Um, Dallas stays at 6.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have to agree. Lakers and Phoenix, I think, make it into the
Mm-hmm.
into the playoffs with the NBA. Or gosh, why can I not speak today? They make it into the freaking NBA playoffs after the play-in tournament.
So we have all the same teams, just a little bit different order.
A little bit different order.
And then on the East side, I got.
East side.
Yeah, I walked in that one. I got Boston. Obviously, they're going to
They already clinched.
number one. I got Milwaukee 2. I'm going to say New York. It's 3, Cleveland 4, Orlando 5, Indiana 6, Miami 7, Sixers 8.
Honestly, I agree 100% there. I think the Knicks do end up taking over that third seed, and Cleveland jumps down to 4.
Yeah.
And then everything pans out as the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, we'll see, and then we face
Sixers
that first round, and
swept.
first round against Boston. So that'll be interesting to say the least.
God, I don't know if I can watch another series versus Boston, man.
To start it off too, like,
God damn it. Oh fuck. Okay. Well, so that is our playoff predictions.
Yeah, this is it's something to
maybe we'll tweak it in a week or two, but yeah, that's what we got right now. God, I hope the Sixers just play Milwaukee first. I don't want to. Yeah. I don't want to lose the Doc in the first round either. God damn it. Oh, God damn it. This is cruel.
It's not gonna. It's not.
Just miss it. Just miss the play.
It's not gonna be fun. All right. We're going to go ahead and move on to our next topic, which is Final Four predictions. And lovely winner of the tournament. That was just, early claps for the person who's going to, the team that's going to win the tournament, by the way. If you haven't picked up on what I'm putting down there. So, I was actually really upset that freaking Duke beat Houston. That pissed me off because I had Houston winning the damn tournament.
Yeah.
F you, Duke. I don't like you.
Duke's so okay, we'll go through the game. So tonight is UConn, Illinois, and Alabama versus Clemson. I think UConn's still gonna get it done. I know there's been a lot of talk and hype around them. Oh, they're an NBA team and this and that, which I think is nonsense. But yeah, I think they beat Illinois, who've been playing very well. And on the Alabama-Clemson side, I'm going to ride with Clemson. Clemson's offenses look really good.
Offense has looked really, really good. I agree with you there. That I think that team definitely goes to the Final Four on that side.
Yeah.
And I have UConn over Illinois.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the line was -9 and +9.
Yep.
And I couldn't take Illinois. I took UConn to cover. I think they're too good right now, and they're playing really well until they prove me wrong.
This will be their best. I think one of their best matchups that they're going to be seeing in the
agreed
throughout the tournament. So,
and then Duke and NC State and Purdue versus Tennessee. I think Duke's going to win. I think it's a great path for them. NC State's a great story. I just don't think they have enough. And Duke kind of reminds me of your UNC a few years ago, like the new coach, like good energy, like good players. I like them going to the Final Four, and then I think I'm gonna ride Purdue. They've always been like a team that everyone was like, oh, like I think they're gonna win it all. I think they're gonna win it all. I think this has been the year that they're not choking quite as much, and I think I don't know. Tennessee played well the other night. That was the toughest matchup to choose between, in my opinion.
So on this side, the Duke and NC State one does make me scratch my head because this will now be what, the fourth time that they've played each other this year, this
That's
season.
right. That's right. And
Because they faced
NC
them.
State beat. Oh, wow.
Yeah, NC State beat Duke in the ACC tournament for the championship. So, it, do I think that they could beat Duke? I do think that they can. It's just really tough to go ahead and do that
Again. Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So it pains me to say this, but I think Duke beats NC State. I do think Tennessee beats Purdue.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't
Now,
think that's great.
moving on to the Final Four,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think Tennessee beats Duke.
Okay.
And I think UConn beats Clemson and goes, and then it's UConn and Tennessee. Oh, I hate it when I eat my own words. I said it earlier this year or earlier this tournament. Tennessee's not winning it because I don't know. I wasn't sipping the Kool-Aid, but do I think Tennessee could take down UConn? That would be interesting. I don't think so. I think UConn wins it all.
Oh my god! Really?
I think UConn goes back to back. Team's really, really strong. I'm gonna ride that wave with the bandwagon of everybody in it. So I also I'm just being a hater.
Yeah. I think UConn's going to beat Clemson. I think Clemson, good run, but they can't get it done versus a team like that. Maybe they'll stay with them now.
Yeah.
I got Duke over Purdue, and I kind of agree with you. I think UConn could get it done. They kind of got those Florida vibes. You know what I mean, from years ago. But just for the record, so if I'm right, I sound like a genius. I'm going to say that Duke wins. I do think Duke's a good team. I think
Shire would get his championship.
Yeah.
Good for you, buddy.
Yeah.
But it's still F Duke.
Oh, I understand. And that was a tough loss for
UNC.
Argos, which sucks for me. If they won, I would have won like $90, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Yeah. So it's been a really good tournament. I mean, I think a lot of upsets, which I love. I love an underdog story.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was up to me, we would have no one seeds in the final four. But yeah, I'm just excited to watch these games. It's been fun to bet on them too. It just makes it keeps
more
you engaged, a little more engaged
when you're watching it. Yep,
yeah,
I agree.
Yeah,
it's going to be a fun. What is it? We're in the Elite Eight right now, so
yeah.
It's going to be a very fun Elite Eight going into the Final Four. Yeah, and then go Phillies.
Yeah, 4 or 5.
Yeah, change what the hell you did yesterday and stop losing it to the freaking Braves. Like, good.
Yeah. Who's up? Is Nola on tonight?
No. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, they said for some reason, and I heard you say Wheeler in my head. I'm like, no. Maybe I was just thinking of Wheeler. But go Phils.
Yeah.
Everybody have a great holiday weekend.
Yeah.
A great Easter weekend.
Yeah.
And as always, if you're not doing anything, go ahead and crack yourself a cold one. Have a great one, guys.